The Mercedes G-Class has truly become an automotive icon. For years, it has maintained a distinctive and angular appearance, but also a rather high price, which makes it quite rare on roads. The Geländewagen is currently celebrating its 40th birthday. What has the model's journey been like from 1979 until today? Join me for this feature. The Mercedes-Benz G-Class is a vehicle that can be either liked or disliked. In collaboration with Mercedes Poland, I traveled to Austria to get to know this model a bit better. I had the opportunity to visit, among other things, the Geländewagen factory, test the car on an obstacle course, and subject the G-Class to a demanding test at a private training center on Mount Schuckel. We had at our disposal various engine versions of this car, including the remarkable V12 biturbo and the 6x6 G-Class, which you might have seen in the Top Gear program. However, more on this topic can be read on the blog, and today I am focusing on the history of the Mercedes G-Class. The history of the G-Class begins in the summer of 1969. Two companies, Daimler-Benz AG and the Austrian company Steyr-Daimler-Puch AG, began discussions on possible cooperation. Both manufacturers already had vehicles with very good off-road capabilities in their range. We are talking about the Mercedes-Benz Unimog and the Puch Haflinger and Puch Pinzgauer. 2 years later, in 1971, the concept of a joint off-road vehicle emerged, which would combine extreme terrain capabilities with good handling on paved roads. In the autumn of 1972, the CEOs of both companies established a design team led by Erich Ledwinka, the chief engineer of Steyr-Daimler-Puch. From that point, the project gained significant momentum. In April 1973, the first wooden model was created, and a year later, a test prototype hit the roads. By 1975, internal project documentation already included photos showing almost the final model of the G. The final styling, with a clearly defined profile, was created in the design department of Mercedes-Benz, led by Bruno Sacco. The designers combined a relatively high ground clearance, narrow width, smooth underbody, and significant approach and departure angles. From the beginning, the G model was produced in the Puch factory in Graz-Tondorf, the same place where the new G-Class Series 463 has been produced since May 2018. Since 1979, Mercedes-Benz has supplied numerous components to Graz from various plants in Germany, including engines, axles, steering systems, and large pressed parts. On February 4, 1979, in Toulon, France, the 460 Series G was shown for the first time. Praising this vehicle, the manufacturer emphasized, among other things, its uncompromising off-road and on-road driving capabilities and versatility. Mass production of the first Geländewagen started the same month. The G model debuted on the market as the 460 series, a versatile off-road vehicle with a relatively simple interior but with a refined drivetrain system. The optimal off-road driving characteristics were provided by a standard all-wheel drive with 100% lockable inter-axle differential lock and optional front and rear differential locks. This feature became standard equipment from 1985 onwards. Meanwhile, the frame construction and rigid axles with coil springs offered versatility and durability off paved roads. Initially, diesel engines 240 GD and 300 GD, as well as petrol variants 230G and 280GE, two wheelbase lengths 2400 and 2850 millimeters, and various body types, open, closed wagon, and van, were available. In addition to the 460 series with a 12-volt electrical system, Mercedes-Benz offered the 461 series with a 24-VI system to military customers. Its CKD completely knocked down version was designated as Series 462. Soon after its premiere, the vehicle gained increasing popularity. In the 280GE and 300GD models, engineers introduced power steering, and from 1987, this feature was available in all other models. But that's not all the changes. In 1985, the Geländewagen received differential locks as standard, and a year later, a three-way catalytic converter operating in a closed system. Initially, this was optional equipment for the 230GE version, but in 1986, it was offered as standard along with the ABS system. In 2001, engineers increased comfort and safety by combining the dynamic driving control system and all-wheel drive. This combination includes the electronically controlled 4ETS traction control system, the Electronic Stability Program, ESP, and the Brake Assist System, BAS. A key step in the Model G's technological development was its significant modernization. In 1990, the 463 series hit the market, equipped with permanent drive instead of the previously installed engageable drive. Later, in the luxury G-Class, engines with 8 and even 12 cylinders were used. However, Mercedes-Benz also continued the tradition of the G model as a universal utility vehicle. Initially, this role was played by the 460 series, which was replaced by the 461 series in 1992. Today, their capabilities are represented by professional variants of the G-Class. The tradition of offering exclusive equipment in the G-Class began with refined additions, such as Recaro seats for the driver and front passenger, available as special equipment from 1981 onwards. In 1982, the standard interior of the vehicle was upgraded, and in 1990, with the debut of the 463 series, wooden accents appeared in the cabin of the Geländewagen. Such changes meant that private and affluent clients started showing interest in the model. They particularly appreciated the powerful variants of the model. The first of these was the Mercedes-Benz 500 GE V8, which hit the market as part of a small series of vehicles starting from 1993. That same year, the G-Class was officially born, according to the new nomenclature of Mercedes passenger cars, where the letter preceding the 3-digit number or letter combination indicates the class to which the vehicle belongs. From 1998, the standard top version of the model was the G500 variant. A particularly successful chapter in the history of the G-Class began in 1999 with the debut of the new flagship of the 463 series, the G55 AMG variant. It laid the foundation for the lasting success of high-performance G-Class variants, branded by Mercedes-AMG. Further standards in this regard were set by the versions G55 AMG compressor, 2004, G63 AMG and G65 AMG, both from 2012, G63 AMG 6x6, 2013, and finally the Mercedes-AMG G63, based on the new G-Class, presented in February 2018. The fact that the G-Class successfully dealt with all challenges in its 4th decade of life was also demonstrated by other exclusive models such as the G500 4x4 Square from 2015 and the Mercedes-Maybach G650 Landaulet from 2017. The latter was produced in only 99 units. Both variants of the iconic off-road vehicle open new perspectives for the G-Class. The G500 4x4 Square, thanks to portal axles in terms of even greater off-road capabilities, and the Mercedes-Maybach G650 Landaulet, offering the highest automotive luxury even off paved roads. In January 2018, at the North American International Auto Show in Detroit, the new generation of the 463 series celebrated its world premiere. The first model introduced was the Mercedes-Benz G500, soon followed by the Mercedes-AMG G63. In December 2018, the third engine variant, the G350, equipped with the latest OM656 diesel engine, was presented. Focusing on the essential technical details in the new 463 series, the G-Class has been reinvented. Example: the chassis developed jointly by Mercedes-Benz and Mercedes-AMG with a traditional rigid axle at the rear and an independent suspension based on double wishbones at the front. However, the excellent off-road capabilities have not changed. In many disciplines, the new G-Class even surpasses its excellent predecessor. And on the outside, its basic credo still refers to the genes of the 1979 G model, visible at first glance in every unit. The new Geländewagen is still a Geländewagen, only better, larger, and thanks to a weight loss diet, also lighter by 170 kilograms. The main intention of the designers of the latest generation G-Class was to increase the vehicle's rigidity. The new suspension was developed together with AMG. At the front, an independent suspension with double wishbones was used, and at the rear, a rigid axle. To increase durability, a strut tower brace was added in the engine compartment. Ground clearance was raised by 6 mm, now at 241 mm. The vehicle can navigate through water and mud up to a depth of 70 centimeters. At the rear, unlike its predecessor, the new rigid axle works with Ford links on each side and a panhard rod. As a result, the G-Class offers even greater comfort on paved roads. And what does the car look like from the outside? Over 40 years, the body of the model has changed little. In the case of the latest version of the G-Class, classic elements still give character to this SUV. Thus, angular shapes, prominent turn signals, and characteristic door handles are still present. The new G-Class is 53 mm longer and 121 mm wider than its predecessor. The vehicle's body has gained better aerodynamics. The gaps are narrower and the joints have become smoother. Wheel arches and bumpers are now more integrated with the body, making them look less like later additions. The rigid body is now made of different types of steel, and the fenders, hood, and doors are made of aluminum. While the body has retained its classic look, the most changes have occurred inside. Upon entering the G-Class, body-inspired design elements are immediately noticeable. For example, the ventilation outlets mimic the shape of the round headlights. Meanwhile, the speaker grills resemble the lenses of the front turn signals. Mercedes engineers highlighted the differential lock switches and framed them with chrome. Classic and round analog dials hark back to the history of this model. Modern displays are also available as an option instead of analog dials. Two 12.3-inch screens merge into a panoramic cockpit covered with a glass lid. The driver can choose from 3 different interface versions: Classic, Sporty, and Progressive, and can configure the relevant information and views according to their preferences. The off-road driving characteristics are further improved by the new off-road mode, G mode. The G-Class activates it automatically, regardless of the selected driving program, as soon as the driver activates one of the 3 differential locks or engages the low-range gear. This mode adjusts the characteristics of adaptive damping, power steering, and throttle response to avoid unnecessary gear changes and thus ensure maximum off-road capabilities. A discrete G icon then appears on the instrument panel. The driver receives detailed feedback on wheel traction and can precisely maneuver the vehicle even on steep slopes. And what's under the hood? A 4-liter V8 biturbo gasoline engine with 422 horsepower and over 600 Nm of torque. However, the excellent off-road capabilities have not changed. In many aspects, the new G-Class surpasses its predecessor. This is where we conclude this feature, with shots from my visit to the G-Class factory in Graz. Thanks for your attention, and see you next time.